learn the good, the bad, and the reality of the off-grid lifestyle, click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Hit the bell notification. Today's March 21st. It's hard to believe that August of last year, we decided to give up the nomadic lifestyle and start off-grid living. Now in August, if you go back to my videos in August, you'll notice that I said that we were going to do it in 4 years. That would give us plenty of time to research and figure out what we wanted to do. And it's only been a few short months, and we've actually accomplished what we set out for a 4-year plan. And I am so grateful that we did it. And I'm grateful that we were able to do it quickly, yet smartly. I feel like we did it pretty smartly. But here we are, and we are off grid in just a few short months. What I find ironic is so many people were upset that it was taking us so long to prepare for the lifestyle. You got to figure, if you go back to the very beginning, we had to figure out what state that we wanted to do the off-grid living in. Now, I know we're from Missouri, and so that seems like the obvious choice, but after doing all our research, we found that Missouri, in certain counties, had the least amount of restrictions when it comes to off-grid living. Tennessee was a close second. A lot of people ask me about Arkansas. And Arkansas is okay. It didn't allow for you to just easily move onto your property, set a camper up. I couldn't find a specific county that would just let you do that. A lot of counties in Arkansas only allow you to set your camper up for 2 weeks and then you had to move it. I mean, you can do it in Arkansas, but there was just a lot of red tape that you had to go through to do it that we didn't have to do it in Missouri. Not only that, we found property in Missouri very cheaply. So the planning, although seemed like a long time, really didn't take that long, and we were able to find it pretty quickly. And I encourage everybody to start right now researching the state that you want to live in and see if what you want to do is possible. And start planning and dreaming. Now, another thing that I was on the fence about was solar panels. If anybody will watch any of my videos for any length of time back, they know that I'm pretty opposed to them. I had solar panels in my past, and I wasn't a big fan of them. Now, I recognize a lot of people said, oh, the technology has changed. Well, the solar panel technology, the ones I got, are pretty much exactly like the ones I had. They're the old technology, polycrystalline. The monocrystalline is the newer technology, but I find that these produce actually more watts than the monocrystalline. Through all my research, it suggests that on cloudy days, these do better. They're bigger, so in order to get 100 watts, I have to have a bigger panel than a monocrystalline. I'm not living in a van where I have to put them on top of the van or inside the van. I can leave them out here in the yard, and I can have as many as I want. Well, almost as many as I want. It's a big yard. And so I was researching places that had a creek, so we could do hydroelectric. Now, a lot of people suggested that we do windmills, but as you will notice, there is no wind. Missouri just doesn't get that windy unless there's a big storm coming through. It may get windy for a couple hours, but not like in New Mexico and Texas, West Texas. It just doesn't get windy here. And we have 8 100-watt solar panels, so 800 watts, and they're doing great. It's a partly cloudy day, believe it or not. There's actually quite a few clouds in here. And we are running a space heater. Now, cloudy days, we have to use propane. But on a partly sunny day like this, we can use a little electric space heater that is thermostatically controlled. We've got it on medium, so it's about 950 watts. We're running it off our 1,000-watt inverter. And the solar panels are keeping up easily. Now, as you will see, there's a tree line right next to the solar panels. So the sun comes up over the tree line, right? And then across the solar panels. So they don't even get full sun in the morning. And by, I don't know, 9 o'clock, the batteries are fully charged, even though the sun is behind the trees. So now the big thing about the solar panels was, while we were at Mom's, I bought them and I was testing them at Mom's house. And surely enough, I did have some problems. Wrong charge controller. I had to learn about charge controllers. And when I realized I needed an MTTP, I was able to buy a new one. So when we got down here, I didn't have any problems. While I was at Mom's, I discovered that my wiring, all my connections weren't correct. So I changed them before I left Mom. So I had all those bugs worked out before we got here, which was a really good deal because all I had to do then was set them up and we got electric. And I don't have to run the generator very much. It's getting where if I have to run it at all, it's for like an hour a day, that's it. Now, the one thing that I have to run the generator for is the well. The well is too big for my inverter, my 1,000-watt inverter. So I'm gonna get a bigger inverter eventually. And then I'll be able to run everything off solar panels, especially on sunny days like this. Now, let's talk about the well. The well, I think, was everybody's biggest concern. I bought a deep well submersible pump. It's 110 volts, 115 volts. So many people said it wasn't gonna work. I was told by people who they say they were professional well diggers and well installers, tell me this wasn't gonna work. So what I've done is I lowered the pump down into the well, and then I just have this pipe right here that runs out of the well. I've put a hose faucet on it right here. I can throttle the speed of the water flow that way. That was something that I had to learn on my own because I wasn't really aware that the pump, although it said it, I just wasn't cognizant of it. It pumps out 33 gallons a minute. Well, the well can only hold, what, let's say 200 gallons, 300 gallons, whatever it is. So within 5 or 10 minutes, the pump can empty the well. So if I use that faucet on there, I can throttle it down to about 3 gallons a minute, and man, it works fantastic. This is not typical thinking. When you're living off-grid, you can't think like normal. Normally, you would have a pressurized tank. When you turn the water on, the pressure tank would send water to your faucet, and then the pump kicks on and fills the pressure tank. Well, I can't operate it that way because I have to have the generator running or the inverter on, and I gotta have full sun in order to run the inverter. So if it just kicks on automatically, I would run out of battery pretty quick, or I'd always be running outside to turn on the generator. I'd have to leave the generator on all the time. So what I did was I put it into this IBC tank. It's a 275 gallon IBC tank. And I'm using it like an RV tank. Exactly like an RV tank, and it's working perfectly. So I start the generator, I turn on my spigot, my faucet, and I filter the water. I use a pre-filter, and I put it into the tank. Takes 3 or 4 hours, depending on how fast I let the flow go. Takes 3 or 4 hours to fill the tank up. And then I run an RV pump from the tank to the camper. And it's working perfectly. Now, I will admit, there was some things I had to work out to make it work perfectly. Unlike the solar panels where I was able to test them out at Mom's house, and if I ran into a problem, I could just plug back into Mom's house and fix my problem, which is what I did. Here, with the well, I had to work out the problems as I was using it. And the first problem was, I didn't realize how fast the water flowed out of that pump. So that I had to figure out how to slow that down. So the faucet came to mind. Then, I, of course, ran into a problem because it's such an old well. The rainwater was flowing down here so fast because we've gotten so much rain that it was flooding my little well house here. All that dirty water was getting into the well. So the first day I had it all cleaned up, then it got dirty again. Well, I've used this Folgers can. Of course, I can't go out anywhere to actually buy the proper equipment that I need. So I've used this Folgers can, at least temporary, maybe long term, I don't know. It might, if it's working, why fix it? That has stopped the rainwater from going down and contaminating the well. Now, contamination. Test the well, test the well. Well, I did, and it came back clean after I shocked the well. And you have to shock the well. This is something that you need to learn how to do. And it's not hard, you just dump bleach down in it. YouTube has all kinds of videos on it. I just dumped bleach down in it, recirculated the water. So I took that black pipe, put it back down in the well, and I turned the well on, and it just circulated for about a half hour, stirred up all that bleach water. That being said, there's been questions about the IBC tank. Well, how am I preventing mold growth or algae growth in the IBC tank? Well, I've always said I'm not going to trust the water coming out of the well because I'm doing it off-grid. I'm just going to continue to use bleach in the tank and then filter the bleach out. Carbon filters filter the bleach out. Bleach is actually pretty easy to get out of water. Cities use chlorine. And then we have the Berkey, and the Berkey is just a magnificent tool. As a matter of fact, through this pandemic, I just discovered, based on a subscriber telling me, that Berkey has sold out of Berkeys. There's no more Berkeys available. Although it seems like it took forever to get down here, and so many people were rushing me to get down here, I feel like we did it really quick. August to March, and we are fully off-grid. By next year, we'll have our tiny house built, we'll have a garden growing, and maybe some livestock, maybe some chickens. I've really considered chickens. Life's great. Thanks for watching.